330 days into the year, that means we have 35 days remaining until we call it a year. Good morning.
Good morning. Even if we call it a year, well, we are just one day shy to the by-elections tomorrow. And of course, everyone will be looking at how this will pan out. A great battle between UDA and, of course, a DCP and many other parties in all these polling stations that will be, of course, putting our reporters to make sure that you are well informed.
And we'll be bringing them a wall-to-wall coverage starting this morning.
Yes, of course, and we shall be doing that just to give you a feel and flavor of where they are located and how that shall pan out tomorrow.
Absolutely. My name is Anna Odida.
Yes, I'm Dibalaner, and a hearty welcome to you.
Let's take a look at the local dailies.
Indeed.
And we start off with the Daily Nation. IEBC faces big test in mini polls.
They started fighting for survival.
Who are they? Right here. We'll be telling you more about that. Taifa leo mkosi mweusi wa Nyaribo. Habari nyingine hapa.
Well, will you survive? People Daily inside the billionaire network influencing Kenya's politics in the Ruto era.
All right. The Star, Ruto Gachagua mini elections battle shifts to vote protection. Finally.
Business Daily. Kenya dodges China's scrutiny in Mao Summit toll road deal. And we shall be looking at the state of the nation. Here are our faces: David Kiplagat, MP Soe Kibe Mungai, advocate of the High Court, and Meshach Odede, political commentator. If you just twist it a bit, it'll be Odidi. Odede.
Right? I see what you did there.
You see what I'm doing?
Yes. After State of the Nation, now every year, as it is the custom for the people of the U.S., every and last Thursday of November, they have Thanksgiving Day. So we'll be joined by James Hagen-Graber, the information officer and spokesman at the U.S. Embassy right here in Nairobi, to talk about Thanksgiving Day and everything that the ins and out of the U.S.
I think it's a very good tradition, right?
Do you think so?
Just to make sure that we remember the providence of God, that He is the source of every blessing. Yeah. So it is not by human power. It is by the might of the Almighty at the end of the day. So if we can dedicate even one day in a year, that I think is a salutary effort from any nation. So I think this is a good trend they've been keeping.
So should we also borrow something from them? Do you think so?
Yeah, we've borrowed enough. The whole of the Constitution is borrowed from them. Why can't we also borrow Thanksgiving Day, since we're in a borrowing spree? And by the way, talking about borrowing spree, okay, we shall be talking about, because there's a warning there by the Central Bank of Kenya. All right, let me not preempt.
Jinx it. All right. Twende border sasa. This is the Uganda Daily Monitor. Know them by their symbols. They're talking about matters election here. Electoral symbols which gained popularity and importance in the U.S. in the 1820s is in an age-old way of politicians and parties identifying themselves. Now, the Electoral Commission has approved and gazetted 20 campaign symbols for 1,250 independent candidates and 8 more for political parties. They cover this story on page 4 and 6. Now, for independents, which are about 295, the clock is the most popular symbol among independent candidates, right here. PFF 81, the new kid on the block, was unveiled by a team that left the FDC party.
But interesting symbols here. And if you may look, first of all, we have, this is a Nokia 3310, if you may remember that. I wonder why they pick up. Are we also in the digital age? They're saying that the new kid on the block, of course, this is trying to woo the young voters, which we have a huge demographic when it comes to, of course, a youthful population. And this is where everyone also will be gagging to get the votes from, given that in Africa we have the highest number. Right. About the football, I wonder. Is it about the way football has been so fetishized nowadays, the bars? So if you put football, also you're bound to attract. I don't know the rhyme and reason why we should be having football. Yeah. So I don't know what sort of emotion it will evoke. Yeah. But I can see also Wiper maybe has crossed over.
Yeah.
It's gone international. Save for the colors, you can see the umbrella, More or less is Wiper, and we've been eagerly waiting for them also to rebrand to the Wiper Patriotic Front from the Wiper Party. So this is NUP in Uganda. Yeah, so don't think you're voting for Wiper. There is also the Mbas. Remember the Mbas party? So the yellow bus is in Uganda. Is synonymous with what? Ruling National Resistance Movement Party.
The ruling
right.
party.
I'll leave it the other one for you. I don't know what you can tell us about the seat.
The seat.
Is it a hot seat?
Now they say it's the second most popular symbol among independent candidates. So they have the clock and they have the seat.
But you know, a seat also can depict a lot of things. You are imposing yourself or you're sitting on the people.
Umekwamilia.
Umekwamilia kwa kiti. Utaki kutoka. And FDC is the key. The blue key ruled the opposition politics for close to 2 decades. Will you want that particular key again? That's a probing question. Interesting symbols.
Know them by the symbols.
Yeah, we'll wait to see how ours will be as well.
Other quick headlines. Women initiate 80% of divorce cases, according to court. This story is on the top strip.
What's the problem? What's the problem? What's the problem?
You know, women are baby girls. If you shout at them,
you're filing the divorce paper.
Court direct.
So we handle with such a delicate,
Human
kids'
being.
gloves.
Yes. They say statistics from the family division shows that as of the end of September 2025, 1,307 cases of divorce had been brought forward. This is Uganda.
No, that's an eye-popping figure.
It's a lot.
And this is a bigger threat to the institution of marriage. I don't know what is currently happening in this epoch of time, in our generation, where every flimsy, idea, every flimsy violation will actually, be taking you to the courts to file a divorce.
Right.
So is it a problem with the dating phases? Is it a problem with the peak of maybe the man? And where is the problem? Because I think, when you are considering this sort of commitment, it is for the longer haul. And there are many challenges that will come in between.
Right.
So it's not all rosy, because I know you want the fuzzy feeling, all the time, lovey-dovey. Sometimes the rigors of parenthood also come in between.
Yeah.
And, love is very ephemeral, they say. Yeah, it's that feeling goes away. So what is remaining is the commitment you made.
I think people are using their free will properly nowadays, because now, you cannot stay in an abusive relationship. Abusive in any form. Abuse doesn't have to be physical, be it mentally. So say you can be wewe unajua umenona na unaona vibaya.
By the way, even previously when it was the older traditions, you go to the Judaic also traditions as well. Why they say thou shalt not divorce, Moses gave you the reasons for divorce because it's all that you wanted. They could, if you burn your food for your husband, that was a case of divorce. Atumelete ugali meungua.
Ugali meungua?
Yeah. As flimsy as, as trivial as that. That was actually the spawning ground for divorce. So we pray that the institution of marriage will hold, because this is a bigger threat. We don't know, and this is just a case in Uganda. We've not gotten our statistics here yet, in Kenya as well, but we shall be looking at the Kenya Bureau of Statistics to know how it really holds.
Absolutely. They make mention of the Odinga family here, and they say Odinga family loses another member, that is Beryl Odinga, who passed on yesterday. That story is on page 10. This is Daily Monitor.
There's something here very, no more refugee status for Somali Ethiopians in Uganda.
Yeah.
It seems the Somali community, especially the Somali community, is getting a flack on this, because also in the US, the President Trump, I've seen he's actually withdrawn the temporal, what do we call it? The temporal something status, of the Somali community in the US, that now, because of issues of the diaspora and the remittance of money that is coming to the Al-Shabaab, that is the reason. I don't know why Uganda is actually picking up on this, but that is what is happening in Minnesota, because we have a huge Somali community there, and there was the TPS, the temporal something status that they were given. The P eludes me.
All right.
Yeah.
So sticking to Uganda still.
I've talked so much on that, so I'll
The
leave
new
it for you.
vision.
Yes.
Nominated MPs. Now, the Electoral Commission out list of over 2,000 candidates. 808 more jobs up for grabs, and that story is on page 3. This is ahead of elections in January 2026, the general election. And Museveni receives blessings on Kabale campaign trail. Oh, wow. The new vision is yellow kama kawaida, lakini ana receive blessings from Kabale. Now they're stamping their support for him in this region.
Yeah. The opposition is normally just given an insert there.
I was actually looking
at the corner. So we have the premium focus, of course, on the president, as you can see it. Candidate's crisis.
And then we have
candidate crisscross, I should say, countryside for votes.
Right. Mafabi and who is the other one? Is it Muntu? But Chagulanyi Mafabi and one more.
That face I do not recognize.
There's matters also in here. They say Bamunanika County MP candidate's house torched. And 823 youth lose 12 billion shillings in job scam. We're also having a similar cases here in Kenya. People losing money to fraud. They're saying, unapatiwa kazi, pay some amount, and then you realize later that you're scammed. And IGG urges youth to lead anti-corruption fight is another story there on page 8. This is as far as Uganda is concerned. Let's cross over to Tanzania.
Digital mystery is what is the splash on the front page of The Citizen. The government has doubled down on claims that the October 29th election violence was a coordinated act of economic sabotage, even as official death toll from the unrest continues to remain undisclosed. And this story is on page 2. It's all about the mystery there. Prime Minister Mwigulu Nchemba. We're talking about people who lost their loved ones, even if it were the blood of just one person that was shed. It is nothing to parade publicly. And of course, now this has gotten the attention of ICC. I think the activists have filed a petition at the ICC to probe the October 29th violence in Tanzania. Confidentiality breaches drive youth away from local clinics. Research from 2017 to 2018 found that the fear of social exposure or stigma drives many youth to self-medicate, delaying or avoiding necessary professional care entirely, despite the availability of local healthcare as a primary service provider of young Tanzanians. You can follow the story on page 3 of The Citizen. Transport innovators push for wider adoption of electric buses and motorcycles. That is in the Business Daily inside The Citizen today. Concerns over funding as Tanzania shifts to skills-based education is on page 4. That is on the teaser here. And Africa, financing. Africa Union Chair calls for fair debt restructuring at summit. This is on page 10 of The Citizen this morning. And that's the only newspaper we have today from Tanzania. It covers everything happening there. Yes. So well, before you go to Tanzania, I think we have the New Times as well from Rwanda. And it's all about the new strategy targets of 800,000 youth jobs in agri-food system. And this is how it looks. Muslim leaders race to meet qualifications deadline. It says there how Akagera packs 1.2 billion shillings Rwandan francs community fund that will spend. You can see it over there. And maybe just to, this is a standalone picture, or is it related to new strategy targets over? Yeah. This is now Chantal Igabire, Director General of Planning at the Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Resource, posing with some of the participants at the exhibition stand at the Youth Forward for Agri-Food Systems Transformation 2025 Forum, where she joined over 416 youth in agribusiness at Kigali Convention Center on November the 25th. The forum was held under the theme, Catalyzing Investment for Transformation Impact. And on the sidebar there, Muslim leaders rest to meet qualification deadline. And remember, the restructuring that is happening in Rwanda when it comes to religion, and President Kagame has been very, very keen on it, that he's warding off some of his shenanigans and prosperity preachers there. So everyone has to have at least some training, whether theologically or yes, both for Muslims and Christians and whichever religion is there as well. How Akagera Park's 1.2 billion shillings franc community fund will be spent, and 73 million tons of silica sand set stage for glass industry growth. I want to show you just briefly what we have on the front page of the Newsweek as well. Killers by design. How humanoid robots could transform warfare. Do you have any bugbears and fears about this artificial intelligence and where it could be taking us?
AI.
Right? Yes, the AI. Especially when it comes to war. And you see, they call them the chimeras. It's like half human, half machine. That is the Newsweek. This is the latest publication. Let me see if we can just grab a hold also of The Economist. Anything goes America. And it's all about the MAGA and also Japan's hawkish defense policy. Will China crush Europe's industry? New thinking on minimum wages. Our books of the year also are inside. So this is the latest copy of The Economist as well. You can grab a copy for your own information broadening.
All right, now let's take a look at weather. The weather, we're still focusing on these areas that will be having by-elections tomorrow. And there's something happening in Baringo. I was listening to Andy Rich yesterday, the IEBC commissioner, confirming that there were floods in Baringo. Some polling stations were submerged. 8 of them. 8, actually, that is correct. Some primary schools and secondary schools. The gazettement of the new IEBC polling stations are yet to be gazetted today. So weather today in Baringo, 21 degrees this morning, feels like 24. Funny enough, it's a very hot day. Yesterday was hot as well. Sasa nashanga floods ilikuja vipi. It's clear skies with periodic clouds. Excuse me. Tomorrow weather will still be the same, 32 degrees on the day of the by-election. Let's cross over to Mandera now, Banisa. 27 degrees this morning, feels like 28. It's a mostly cloudy day in Mandera. Highs of 36 degrees. It's a hot day a hot week rather, in Mandera. Sasa kesho pia 36 degrees. Embu, Mbere, 17 degrees this morning. It's a cloudy day as well. Highs of 26 degrees, but it's going to rain this morning in Embu. Let's just say Mbere. It's going to rain this morning up until 3 p.m. Tomorrow it will rain heavily, in fact. Precipitation tomorrow in Embu will be 40%. So Zahapa expect rain. They say light rain tomorrow. Today, it's a cloudy day, but it will rain, as you can see. So I hope the light rain will not deter the voter turnout. Yeah. Yes. Go and vote for your member of parliament. Weather in Kakamega. Kakamega. 15 degrees this morning. Feels like it. It's a partly cloudy day in Kakamega. Highs of 31 degrees. Tomorrow it will drop just by 1 degree to 30 degrees. So kesho pia is a hot day in Kakamega. Homa Bay, help me. All right, let's see what's happening in Homa Bay. Also there is where we'll be training our eyes tomorrow. Absolutely. In Kasipu area, there are about 21 degrees as we speak. Feels like 24 this morning. Highs of 31 degrees. Tomorrow it will drop by 1 degree as well to 30. So it's a hot day, kama kawaida. Hot week. Nairobi. Finally. 17 degrees this morning. Feels like it. It's a mostly cloudy day. There's likelihood of having showers this morning. Precipitation today, 20%. Tomorrow it will rise to 20. Oh, we're looking at, this is Tuesday. Let's see. Today, Wednesday. You can see weather in Nairobi today. They're saying it will rain starting 7 a.m. up until 5 p.m. Tomorrow. Yesterday, did it rain? It didn't. It didn't. Did we project that it will? Yeah. I think even Monday would say, oh, they cast it out at all. Yeah. So yeah, this is according to maybe some parts of Nairobi. Yes. You know, we always have this microclimate. You might find that you're coming from the sides of Karen, the leafy suburbs. Yeah, your car is all drenched up, and people are wondering, okay,
where did it rain?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Nairobi, according to this projection, it might rain.
This is the entire of Nairobi, yeah.
18 minutes. Na tumekaa sana hapo. 18 minutes past 6 a.m. tuangalie traffic, major tributaries to town. Jogoo Road, tuache load kidogo. Looking clear as well, nothing to worry about. It's building up slowly. Jogoo Road on your way to town, ukitoka pale Manyanja Road, there's something there. There's interchange hapo ni matatu. Building up slowly on your way to town. Landis Road, there's something here, a little bit of traffic, traders getting into town. Machakos bus station, also a little bit of traffic there. If you go way back to Mombasa Road, on your way to town, looking clear as well, as you can see, green. This is Ngong Road, also clear, nothing to worry about, perfect time to leave the house, as you can see, just something small there, lakini hiyo ni stage. Let's see somewhere else. This is Waiyaki Way, looking clear, green, nothing to worry about. Muthaiga interchange, tuangalie kuna ka vipi, building up slowly as well, lakini hiyo ni kama kawaida, nothing to worry about. If you go way back, now there's something here, traffic building up slowly. This is survey around Allsops area, traffic inapanda hapo. If you go way back, Garden City, clear at this time of the morning. So nothing to worry about, perfect time to leave the house. Let's have the quote of the day.
The road to success is never straight or simple. There will be moments when you stumble, but it's in those moments that you find your greatest strength. Embrace failure as a teacher and let it shape you into someone unstoppable.
All right, let's come back and take a look at the local dailies. All right, and we'll just rush through the headlines this morning. IEBC faces big test in many polls. Make or break is a question they ask, and the Electoral Commission says it's all set to deliver credible by-elections tomorrow, which many Kenyans will be watching with an eye on 2027. Will new IEBC Chairman Erastus Ethekon and his team steer the hotly contested polls in a free, fair and transparent manner? Will the conduct restore confidence in the Commission? It's a question they ask on page 4 and 5. Opposition politicians have already gone to court to demand more electoral reforms. Their take, IEBC Chairman Erastus Ethekon, according to him, he says the IEBC does not take instructions from any individual, political actor or external interest. The Commission remains committed to upholding the Constitution and delivering a credible process. According to Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka, this is a new IEBC team, and we all know how it came to be in office. It's the lowest rated public institution when it comes to trust by the public. So the chairman and his commission have a huge responsibility. If you do not get this one right, Kenyans will not have confidence in you to manage the elections in 2027. This story has been covered on page 4 and 5 once again. If we endelea Teketeke report, 6 in 10 school children struggle with reading and maths. This is a grim reality, and it says 89,870 is the number of children aged between 5 and 12 sampled across 12 countries in this study. 43% is the percentage of 10-year-olds in Kenya who meet benchmarks compared to Tanzania, that is 33%, and Uganda 4%. And 6,669 is the number of children who are assessed for the survey here in Kenya. Raila's sister dies in a city, plunging the family into mourning again is another story covered on page 10. Condolences to the family. And on the top strip, Thuge warns of debt distress amid ambitious borrowing. Reduced appetite for loans, CBK boss. And ousted by MCS for a third time, Nyaribo's fate lies in Senate again. Will they save him again this time? It's a matter of wait and see.
Right. We may remember the governor of Embu, who had 9 lives as well. He survived through all the impeachments.
Meru. Okay. This is the Standard.
The Standard has the fighting for survival as a splash today. Godfather's distress for the politicians Ruto has quietly tasked with securing Mount Kenya, Western, and the pastoral belt. Tomorrow's polls are unforgiving. Victory strengthens their bargaining power heading into cabinet reshuffles, party realignment, and coalition talks. Defeat, however, will expose them as liabilities. Leaders who can't shift votes, can't whip local loyalties, and can't deliver when it matters. In a government that measures value in raw numbers, failing at home is political suicide. So, yes, they're a bit antsy about this. Will they deliver? Will they not deliver? All right, the judgment will be on them, and tomorrow is the day. So you can see already some of the other figures that they're bound also to be focused on whether they will deliver votes is Hassan Ali Joho, CS Ministry of Mining, Blue Economy and Maritime. We have also Emerson Kingi, Senator Assembly Speaker, and we have as well Moses Wetangula, National Assembly Speaker. So will they really deliver as they've done before? Time will tell tomorrow. That is the Standard.
All right. Taifa Leo, mkosi mweusi wa Nyaribo, gavana wa Nyamira fuata nyayo za magavana Kawira Mwangaza na Martin Wambora waliotemwa mara tatu. So Kawira Mwangaza Meru, Martin Wambora?
Martin Wambora was Embu, was the one who actually then lives then.
All right.
Was, but he survived through most of them. Yes.
Gazeti hili linasema kwamba shutuma zake ni kwamba shutumiwa kukiuka katiba na sheria nyingine pamoja na kutumia afisi yake vibaya. Alaumiwa kuegemea mrengo wa spika wa zamani. Aliteua Peri Soroko kuwa waziri wa kaunti bila kuidhinishwa na bunge la kaunti. Alikosa kuwasilisha stakabadhi za kila mwaka za fedha na pia kukosa kuhutubia bunge. Alikaidi amri ya mahakama ya wajiri na leba ya Kisumu na kumteua Clive Ogwora kuwa waziri wa kaunti. Alaumiwa kuwaajiri wafanyikazi bila bajeti iliyoidhinishwa wakiwemo maafisa. Aliwaajiri Godfrey Kiraigo na Elmeda Nyabira katika idara ya wajiri kwa njia ya mapendeleo, na vilevile adaiwa kupokea shilingi milioni 5.6 kama mshahara na ulipaji haramu wa mishahara. Shutuma kwake gavana wa Nyamira Nyaribo, Amos Nyaribo. Mtihani mkubwa kwa IEBC kiandaa chaguzi ndogo hapo kesho. Habari kamili katika ukurasa wa 3. Kule juu, msukosuko mpya watikisa ndoa ya UDA na ODM. Nasema kwamba inatikiswa na tofauti za wazi, tamaa zinazogongana na kisiasa, jumbe zinazokinzana pamoja na vitisho vikali. Gazeti la Taifa Leo.
People Daily, inside the billionaire network influencing Kenya's politics in the Ruto era is what is on the front page of the People Daily. And why Mudavadi wants a new candidate to block Natembeya is on page 8. People and politics. That is the legal lens as well. You can follow inside the People Daily. And will Thursday's by-election challenge IEBC's credibility? Right, we have already some of the United Opposition leaders casting aspersions on the credibility of IEBC. Yeah, we are also eagerly awaiting to see how that will be.
All right. The Star, Ruto and Gachagua mini elections battle shifts to vote protection. Trusted General sent to oversee process seen as test run for 2027. This story is on page 6. How Raila saved sister burial from abusive MPs, another story covered on page 2 of the Standard. They also pay tribute to the Odinga family, Beryl Odinga. PS Hustler Fund has built credit footprints for 27 million Kenyans. This is Susan Mangeni, the PS for Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises. Frederick Okango is up there. Political firestorm. Tomorrow's polls could make or break 2027. And that story has been captured on page 16. And no room for misconduct at IEBC. Chair Erastus Ethekon tells Kenyans ahead of tomorrow's election. That's the Star.
Business Daily. Kenya dodges China's scrutiny in Mao Summit toll road deal is a splash. Chinese firms deals above 129 billion shillings require Beijing node. And we have Kenya bringing second China farm to 170 billion shillings project. Follow the story on page 2 of the publication today. Gen Z protest fears leave 90 billion shillings budget hole in 3 months. This story continues on page 2 of the Business Daily, I should say. And on the ticker, World Bank reveals 1 trillion shillings parastatal bailouts subsidies. Taxpayers are spending more than 1 trillion shillings annually to keep loss-making state corporations afloat, preventing private investments and suppressing growth in formal job openings for the youth. And of course, you know the debate about some of these parastatals and the way now they should be folded or merged. And some of them, of course, sold out to private sector. That has been the debate so far. You can follow that on the economy, page 4 of today's publication. And Peugeot dealer Eurasia expands with Citroën and Jeep brands. Motor vehicles dealer Eurasia, which has been selling Peugeot models, have expanded by introducing French brand Citroën and brought back the American brand Jeep that was previously sold by DStv. Kenya coffee exports up to 43 billion shillings. The value of Kenya's unroasted coffee exports jumped 38.6% to 43.4 billion shillings in the 9 months to September, signaling price-driven boom. This is good news for our coffee farmers who had jitters as well. Politicians are using negative language to amplify our pessimism and conflict. Is all about intelligence, and that is written by Nderitu Murithi, the chair of the Kenya Revenue Authority. That is on page 9 of today's publication.
Once again?
Yes, just to remind you, we are having a guest this morning. And of course, we shall be having David Kiplagat, MP Soy, Kibe Mungai, advocate of the High Court, and Meshek Odede, political commentator. And of course, we know the story, right? It's all about the by-elections. It's all about the intrigues in between.
Later on, we'll be talking about Thanksgiving Day ahead of tomorrow's celebrations. This is a U.S. holiday with James Hagen-Grabber, that is the information officer and spokesman at the U.S. Embassy here in Nairobi, Kenya. Let's see what the cartoonist is saying this morning, and this is the Standard. Unite to end digital violence. This is in line with this year's theme. And GBV and TFGBV. The East African Commission is, however, caricatured here na miguu kubwa inajaribu kukanyaga political activists.
Yes, political activism that is ongoing. So I think it's a tale of two scenarios. So as you're observing the action against GBV month, there's 16 days activism, which began yesterday, and of course also where we're headed to politically as well.
This is the Standard. People Daily.
Things fall apart. I have no sorting idea. I think this is who has fallen and who is having the broom. It's all about yes, it's all about the ODM party. Things are falling apart, and you can see he's lying there on the oranges there. Some, of course, are rotting. I'll leave it for you to decipher.
People Daily. This is Daily Nation. I need the 30% you owe me. Malava by-election tomorrow. That is the president caricatured hapo. In this ballot box ya Malava, their holes, they kama, hiyo ni maji, yamemwagika. This is Speaker Wetangula, National Assembly Speaker, and of course the Prime Cabinet Secretary, Musalia Mudavadi.
Yeah, it's such a Herculean task for both of them. So this is what I gave you that favor, or return it back.
Give me my 30%. Daily Nation. Fine.
All right, this is Ozone in the Star. And it's all about the Senate, and we have Nyaribo now, who is eagerly waiting to see if he can, of course, be saved again by the Senate. At least it's proven to remove very stubborn impeachment stains. And that is the Senate laundromat.
That is the Star, of course, news making headlines here in the country and across the region. We do encourage you to interact with us on our socials, TV47 Kenya on Facebook, and on YouTube, on X, TV47 Digital. My handle on X is at @Ann_Odida. The hashtag is MorningCafe TV47.
Adibolaner is my handle on X, so on other socials as well. You can doggedly follow me there.
See you after the break.
mornings. Join Coach Shadrach Omer every Monday to Friday from 5:30 to 6 a.m. only on TV 47. Full body workouts, zero equipment, maximum results. Start strong, stay strong. TV 47 Fitness with Coach Shadrach only on TV 47. Looking for the perfect way to kick off your weekend?
Pole. Hiyo ni salamu ya Mluya kabisa.
Tune in to Friday with Betty, the most exciting show on TV.
Betty, one tear gas. Betty, I don't know where this guy's going.
Walikutoka.
From the latest news and trends to unforgettable moments.
Mimi ni simpa. Hiyo naona nakubali.
Wewe ni simpa.
Friday with Betty is your go-to show for a fabulous Friday night.
Theological, meteorologist. What is that word, Willis?
Tune in this and every Friday at 9 p.m. and let's make your Fridays unforgettable. Only on TV 47. Enjoy uninterrupted live streaming of your favorite programs on TV 47 and Radio 47 on the go with our new mobile-friendly website. Experience the future of broadcasting. Visit www.tv47.digital or scan this QR code and stream your way to endless news and entertainment. Welcome to the home of untold stories.
This is Kenya's #1 talk show, Dr. Farika tonight. My name is the Eagle himself. Dr. Farika is my name.
We are flipping the script, but guess what? Or should I say, guess who is taking over tonight's show?
Ani wewe furahia umekaa na kasipuni. CP unit ni Punet.
Ni Punet. So you guys knew about
Piga.
Sawa basi. Nasema that gave you the whole time.
I don't want to go back to brokenness.
Never.
I just love the high life. Siwezi taka kuimagine ati nimesota.
You have to watch to find out. Tune in every Wednesday from 7:30 p.m.
Next time you need fresh lemon juice, microwave a lemon for 7 to 10 seconds. Then roll the lemon back and forth under your palm on the counter. When you squeeze, you'll get more juice from the lemon with way less effort.
Start your day with Relationship Wednesday from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. with Ann Odida. Dive deep into the dynamics of love, friendship, and family as we explore the stories that shape our connections. Then satisfy your appetite with Tasty Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. where Anne serves up delicious recipes, cooking tips, and the latest food trends to inspire your next meal. Relationship Wednesday and Tasty Wednesday every Wednesday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. only on Morning Cafe.
Your nose alone won't always tell you if your eggs have gone bad. To find out, gently place uncooked eggs in a bowl of cold water. If an egg sinks to the bottom, it's A-OK. If it floats, it's seen better days.
No more excuses. It's time to rise, grind, and own your mornings. Join Coach Shadrach Omer every Monday to Friday from 5:30 to 6 a.m. only on TV 47. Full body workouts, zero equipment, maximum results. Start strong, stay strong. TV 47 Fitness with Coach Shadrach only on TV 47.
All right, welcome back. You're watching Morning Cafe with me, Dibala here, sitting in for Friday in the Muli. And right now we want to buckle down to a discussion with our panelists who are already here in studio. And everyone is putting their eyes, of course, on all the constituencies, the words that will be going to the polls tomorrow. And everything seems to be, of course, at the ready as far as the preparation is concerned with the IEBC, despite the fact that we have the United Opposition also raising scruples and special umbrages with the IEBC and the questions that are raising regarding the credibility of IEBC as well. And the IEBC, they've come out to strongly defend themselves. But I want just to, as a teaser, before I introduce our guest, to show you this particular editorial cartoon, interesting, that has been drawn by Stano. And this is, of course, the arm wrestling that will be seen tomorrow in Mbere, where everyone is talking about it. And you can see, it says, a soprano is the highest pitched adult singing voice. Right, and we know who has been personified as the soprano. Yeah, and it's very low in Mbere. So how will this arm wrestle turn out tomorrow? So this is what we're going to be covering as well. And we have also a report from Senate. We know that, first of all, that Governor Nyaribo will be now going to the Senate to make sure that he survives or not. He has been impeached by the MCAs, so we shall be looking at that as well. And the legal tussle that is ongoing regarding the candidature of the Mbere North Member of Parliament. Also, that is bound to be a case of discussion with our lawyers here who are in the House and looking also at the petition by Senator Okia Omutata. All right, time to unveil the faces that we've created FaceTime with this morning so that we may continue past with the conversation. I want just to, of course, extend a hearty welcome to our panelists who are already here. We have with us Meshek Odede, who is a political commentator. Also, we do have with us as well Kibe Mungai, advocate of the High Court, and David Kiplagat, who is a member of parliament from Soy. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning. Good morning.
Yes, thank you so much. I hope you've taken breakfast. So, of course, we have a cup of tea there so that you can knock it back if you feel like it's a low morning as far as your sugar levels are concerned. But good to see you. Thank you so much. Today is, of course, the final day to the big day tomorrow. and everyone is eagerly awaiting to see how that is really panning out. But of course, we can just begin with the pleasantry just to find out how you're doing. I think, Mr. Sowe, it's been a while since we saw each other on this particular venue. Good morning.
Good morning, Dibal and our viewers. I think it has been long since we had an engagement together.
Yes, it did.
I don't know where you got lost it.
I got lost in the shuffle.
But I can see you are doing well.
Thank you.
Doing well. And also at the constituency level, I think we are picking up and things are looking bright. Yes.
Are you adversely affected in any way by the floods in your constituency?
No. In fact, if you look at the ecological conditions of Uasin Gishu, we are rarely affected by floods. I think the land is able to sort itself.
Okay.
And, right now we are in a period of harvesting. You know, we are the grain basket of the country. We are in the period of harvesting, and so there is low rainfall, and farmers are actually, you know, they do their sales after a year. So this is now the period that there is a BAMBA harvest. The people are harvesting and taking to the cereals so that we can continue feeding this country. Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
Meshek Odede.
Yes.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good to see you, Dibal.
Bright as always.
Yes, we're good. We are preparing to launch something as a consortium of non-governmental organizations who are working in peace and development through volunteering. That is the Kenya Red Cross, United Nations Volunteers, VSO, and many others. 2023, the United Nations General Assembly had a resolution to make the year 2026 International Year of Volunteering. And that is what the launch is all about. The New York will host the global launch, and Kenya at the UN offices in Nairobi will host the regional launch of the same. And so we want to see 2026 the contribution volunteers make to our development. And I think we can actually make a guess. In Kenya, we are lucky 2017, we had carried out a national survey to see the economic contribution of volunteer sector to the GDP. And it was the research was putting it at 3.66%. So probably with this launch, we will carry out another survey in the year 2026 to see how far that contribution and impact has moved.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we can see also President William Ruto is proposing to have, the $400 million that is dedicated to the peacekeeping efforts in the AU. Now that's ratcheted up to around $1 billion?
Yes.
So this is just an effort to boost Africa-led peace efforts.
Yeah.
So that also is a good salutary effort proposal coming from him as well?
Yeah, exactly. There is a lot of input coming from volunteers in the peace processes, but because it looks like it is in the background, it has not been given a lot of light.
Yeah.
So probably people look at the contribution around peace coming from either development partners, governments, but there is a lot going on within communities. He comes from the Rift Valley, and he can tell you if there is any peace, it is peace that is mediated by locals and out of voluntary. It always sustainable when the locals voluntarily wants to make that peace and mediate it. It's always not sustainable if leaders come from high level, comes to maybe hold a rally in terms of bringing peace. But when the community voluntarily come out and everybody is volunteering that they want to build this peace, it's always more sustainable.
Thank you very much. Let me come to you, Wakili Kibe, and just also get to hear from you. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Yes, thank you. There is, before we buckle down to our discussion, maybe just on the sidebar, Senate also questions DPP over slow prosecution of hate speech cases. That is another case. And we can see the DPP is stoutly against the amendment of the Constitution to give or accord the National Cohesion and Integration Commission and the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission prosecutorial powers. So the idea is advancing is the fact that if this particular powers are granted to this institution, then it can be used willy-nilly to, you know, prosecute people. I don't know if that particular reasoning really flies with you, because ESCC, NCCI, they're saying, of course, we always present these things to the DPP. One pivotal case is what is happening currently with Mbeere North candidate that has done a lot of contention with the name changing.
Yes, I believe that is an argument from a legal standpoint that could go either way. There are enough reasons to say that Article 157 of the Constitution that gives the DPP the state's power to prosecute should remain intact, in the sense that he is supposed to be an independent constitutional officer, beholden to nobody, and who actually serves the state as a guarantor to the rest of the country that there would be fair, objective, and lawful usage of the prosecution powers. But that is very good in principle and in theory. Sometimes it has actually depended on who is the DPP, and does he, as a matter of fact, act as an independent person. You've had instances where the current DPP operates, and in fact, even the other day when they were going to preside over examinations, and the president was sending all states officers, including his normal appointees who are not supposed to be independent, to go and invigilate, even the DPP was sent. Very many times, cases that where the state is concerned, the state has been, the DPP has tended to bow to the wishes of the state, like don't prosecute this one, prosecute this one, and that has been problematic. I believe that is the main reason, and I know from the EACC, they keep on complaining that even with the best of prosecutions, with the best of evidence collected and collated, the DPP ultimately exercise this power not in a manner that is technically sound, but in a manner that clearly shows some partisanship and some kind of horse trading when it becomes, which could involve issues of corruption and what have you, when these issues becomes at the tail end of the prosecution. And you can see in the Mbeere issue, the candidate for Mbeere North of UDA actually has extremely serious cases. The DPP has been dragging his feet in prosecuting that case. So that the argument that you can say it is actually based on convenience and weaknesses of the DPP ends up being made. That what would be the justification to have a DPP that the Constitution secures and is supposed to do his job, fails to do his job? The rest of us are blamed that we are not doing ours. Because for EACC, if there is cases are being reported every day and no action is being taken, then for those cases where no action has been taken, the EACC wears that face. But who is to blame? Many times, and I can say that from a technical point of view, it tends to be the DPP. So that for me, I would agree with the DPP, the constitutionally, the powers are okay. But when they are abused, you lead now to this kind of people agitating with some justification that let us amend and enable everybody can do their job to the end without having to be subjected to DPP. I believe that's the basis of those concerns.
But even if they're given these prosecutorial powers, what would be the deterrent of the overreach of the executive in controlling them? Because at the end of the day, the budget, we know where it really comes from.
It goes more beyond the budget in how you do your work. Because
the budget has been a tripping wire. You know, if the executive wants to stifle these institutions, we've seen what is happening also with the judiciary.
Yes. I'm aware of that. And I was actually party to a meeting at IPOA. I believe this is 3-4 months ago, together with a delegation of opposition MPs. They asked me to accompany them. And the issues when we reached there that the chairman of IPOA was raising is even new members of parliament, so that IPOA can be able to do its job. Can you also ensure we have enough investigators go and support us to have a better budget, okay? So that is something that many commissions keep raising. But you see, the other concern also that was there, if a commission is doing its job, and like even those members of parliament now are saying, and the only issue now is one of budget, both the MPs, I believe, and the members of the public would say we need to finance that particular body in a proper manner. But like with IPOA, people would take easily a neutral position and say, in the case of Ojwang, for example, you can see the prosecution, Albert Ojwang, that are being carried out. A young man, you go and get him from his father in Homa Bay. He comes, he gets killed after 3 hours of landing to Nairobi. The father is told, a specific person, DIG Lagat, is the one who told us to send you. The son is killed. Then prosecutions are being carried out in Kibera in the absence of what the family is saying. The prime suspect is not there. The IPOA is in court saying that there is nothing against the prime suspect. So you see this kind of crude behavior, I believe that is the one that you are pointing out. Everybody would get concerned about. So how in good faith can you say IPOA is doing a good job where in a common sense question, like a girl was killed and the only person with enmity with that girl is you, and you are not being prosecuted? So there are concerns about these commissions, the way they are doing their job. And part of the compromise comes when it becomes to the appointment. The DPP, when it came to his appointment, very serious questions were raised. The people at IPOA, a number of them, when they were getting appointed to those commissions, very serious issues were raised. Even the IEBC, I believe we shall be coming to that. There was a serious disagreement whether these people are fit or they are not too partisan to be in what are supposed to be independent commissions. Those are genuine issues of concern.
Right, genuine issues of concern, and I think that has been primarily the focus of the united opposition, especially when it comes to Magarini. We've had the deputy president, the former deputy president, I should say, and the party leader of DCP raising questions regarding some voter bribery that is ongoing, also sending some officials there who are aligned to one member who's the vice chair of the IEBC. Fahila, we shall be looking at that. But let's just listen into what he had to say. And we have also the DAP Kenya accusing UDA of bribery as well.
Tuko na ushahidi na hiyo mkutano na video zimechukuliwa na tayari nimetuma kwa IEBC Malava. Kwa hivyo mimi nataka kuambia wakaaji wa Malava kwamba kama watakuja na hizo pesa, vile tumekuwa tukiwaambia tu, nyinyi chukueni pesa. Kitu ambacho hamstahili kufanya ni kumpa mtu kitambulisho yako.
Wamesense defeat, that is why they are in a panic mode. Nimesema akishinda sina shida, nitamsalamia na watu wa Malava, maisha yao iko important kuliko as an individual. Na mimi nikimshinda akubali.
Yeah, so that is very key. Even as you're talking about these institutions, from your own assessment, do you think NCIC is reactionary rather than, of course, being proactive? Because I think by now, as we've been heading towards the general election, not the general, but the by-election, it should have been more active in trying to sensitize, you know, especially those people in those areas that are affected with these by-elections regarding hate speech. Some of the violence that we saw before. Yesterday, I think the day before, we had also Rigathi Gachagua being pelted with stones as well. The violence that is there on the ground. The vitriol that is being spewed. Yes. Do you think they are actually rising up to their mandate as NCIC?
Thank you, Dibal. If you ask me, my honest opinion as a Kenyan and not a lawyer, I do not know exactly the gap that NCIC was coming to fill. Of all the other independent commissions, I do not honestly see what we would lack if NCIC was not created. I don't know. Because we need to assess it from a common perspective, a common view of a Kenyan. If NCIC was not formed in the 2010 Constitution, what it is that would have gone wrong that they have avoided, that they have helped us avoid as a country from 2010, I don't see. I can't put my finger on this and say this was going to be catastrophic if we didn't have NCIC in 2010 until now. This would have eaten Kenya raw. I don't see that. I have no idea. Maybe they are the ones who can tell this is what we have helped Kenya to avoid. If we were not created as a constitutional commission, this would have eaten Kenya raw. I have no idea.
The publication of The Face of Kenya? You know,
I mean, and then how does that change anything? For example, in this regime, we got into a very murky election in 2022. We ended up with everything the way we ended up with. But at some point, you, myself, Wakili, and Mheshimiwa here know at some point things were raised like hiring that happened at Revenue Authority, the Kenya Revenue Authority, where two communities have more than 70% or even 80%. And then it is only said, like now we have a show here, we talk about it and then it ends there. I don't see where any of those people were recalled. So as a Kenyan, not as a lawyer, just as a normal Kenyan, as a farmer, I am asking myself, so how is NCIC even helping anything to reverse anything bad that was supposed to happen or that has happened? The ones that has happened continue to happen. The ones that have not happened, we still face them, and when their time comes, we see them happening. But NCIC is still there. They are still called Independent Commission. I mean, for me, it doesn't really work.
So we've not cohered as a country? You agree with what Mr. Odere is saying here, Mheshimiwa?
Okay, maybe just before that, I would like to go back to what Wakili Kibe was saying about,
yes.
About the independence of the DPP. I think it's important that constitutionally that office is upheld, and there is no way we can, the proposal that is coming up that we dish prosecutorial powers to every commissions that investigates matters. I think the authors of the Constitution and Kenyans knew very well that there needs to be safeguards in terms of the excesses of power, because if a certain wing is compromised, there should be another one that comes up so that they can sieve the bad and the good. So it's important that under our Constitution, for us to be able to get a fair hearing, there need to be those stages in which every office independently reviews. So I really oppose this idea that we should give prosecutorial powers to DCI, prosecutorial powers to NCIC, prosecutorial powers to EACC. What we need is that those offices that...
Well, the DPP has actually failed to...
I'm coming to that.
Yes.
What we need, you know, when a segment, an individual fails, it doesn't mean that now you go and change the Constitution because of an individual. What we need to do, because if you hear what Wakili Kipe is saying, especially on Albert Ojwang, Albert Ojwang is a case that was investigated. It's a case that the DIG reported officially, like any other Kenyan, officially in the occurrence book, and investigations were done. Where the mishandling happened, the mishandling happened at the Central Police Station. The guy in charge of the Central Police Station is the OCS, and the OCS is facing, has been tried and is caught on that. Why do you want to propagate to innocent people? So this idea also of using mob lynching and mob justice, and thinking that because that is how we think, then the law should pursue that line. I think it is also a myopic thinking in my view, and we always want to, you know, we also need to balance emotions and the reality. The reality is Albert Ojwang was killed at the Central Police Station. The officers who handled the case, who handled Albert Ojwang at the Central Police Station, including the person in charge of the Central Police Station, who is the OCS, is in court. So why do you want to propagate to an innocent Kenyan who reported genuinely the case? When you report a case, Debal, and somebody goes and mishandles, how do I come for you? And you did it genuinely. So sometimes also this idea in which we take an issue, we we propagate it further, and we think now the way we are thinking in our minds is how the law needs to work.
So from your assessment, Mheshimiwa,
yes.
I think we should take a short break, then we circle back with that, so that we don't eat also into a commercial time a bit. Let's take that short break. We'll circle back with that particular discussion, looking also on what is currently happening. We have our reporters already on the ground. We shall be giving you much later in our subsequent bulletin as well, the feel and flavor of how the preparations are on for tomorrow. Don't go away. You're watching Morning Cafe. We take a short break.
No more excuses. It's time to rise, grind, and own your mornings. Join Coach Shadrach Omer every Monday to Friday from 5:30 to 6 a.m. only on TV 47. Full body workouts, zero equipment, maximum results. Start strong, stay strong. TV 47 Fitness with Coach Shadrach only on TV 47. Looking for the perfect way to kick off your weekend?
Pole. Hiyo ni salamu ya Mluya kabisa.
Tune in to Friday with Betty, the most exciting show on TV.
Betty, one tear gas. Betty, I don't know where this guy's going.
From the latest news and trends to unforgettable moments.
Ila mimi simpa. Hiyo naona nakubali.
Wewe ni simpa.
Friday with Betty is your go-to show for a fabulous Friday night.
Meteorologist. What is that word, Willis?
Tune in this and every Friday at 9 p.m. and let's make your Fridays unforgettable. Only on TV 47. Enjoy uninterrupted live streaming of your favorite programs on TV 47 and Radio 47 on the go with our new mobile-friendly website. Experience the future of broadcasting. Visit www.tv47.digital or scan this QR code and stream your way to endless news and entertainment. Welcome to the home of untold stories.
This is Kenya's #1 talk show, Dr. Foreke tonight. My name is the Eagle himself. Dr. Foreke is my name.
We are flipping the script, but guess what? Or should I say, guess who is taking over tonight's show?
Ani wewe furahia umekaa na kasukuru.
Welcome back. We continue pace with the conversation, just keenly looking at some of the questions that are being raised by the Senate regarding the slow pace that we have hate speeches being prosecuted. And it is also in the light of that conversation that everyone is seeking to have the institution, that is the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, and the ESC given prosecutorial powers. But we have the office of the DPP starkly denying this, saying that giving them this particular opportunity to prosecute will also be used willy-nilly in favoring or trying to, because of political expediency, maybe targeting some people as well. But we're looking also at what these institutions, especially the NCIC, has done and why they should be given prosecutorial powers. Have they really passed muster in delivering the mandate since the enactment? And of course, we know where it really came from with the 2007 harrowing torture that we went through as a country with the post-election violence. Tomorrow, of course, is a big day, and we've seen violence as well erupting. You could see even the DCP leader wearing a helmet because he had bugbears and fears that he will be pelted with stones. And of course, we saw also the violence that was there in Narok as well. And this is a question that we want to continue with you, Mheshimiwa, and we delve deeper into it. Yes. Should we also be expending money? They've also been complaining about budgetary constraints, prosecutorial powers, but it is a constitutional office.
I think if there's something that we need to tell to tell ourselves, and Wakili has elaborated so. NCIC, since its formation, I think they have done very little. It's a body that...
Can you maybe recall any overarching, you know, seminal...
Like right now we are in a scenario,
yes,
whereby they summon an individual.
Excuse me.
They summon an individual to appear, and the individual just writes to them, I'm not appearing until you call so and so, and the story ends there. They have no teeth, they have nothing, they are just mapengo there about, and actually, because if they cannot, now they are looking for prosecutorial powers. Even summoning powers that they have been unable to use them, even summoning alone. So I think NCIC needs to look at their TOR and be able to expand, because it's about cohesion, it's about civic education, it's about bringing Kenyans together. They are not policing, you know. Their work is not just to police. Their work is to ensure that at least, even if you have the hate speech, the Kenyans need to know what is this, what are the parameters of this hate speech. They have not held any public engagements for them to have civic education to Kenyans. They have not gone to areas whereby you get areas where there is conflict between communities.
Thank you.
That is where they need to go right there, to stay there in Andy and be able to bring cohesion within those communities. So if we are going to analyze the NCIC, I think NCIC is a complete failure, and they need to either to reform, or they just be, I think instead of even asking for prosecutorial powers, they should just be wiped out of this constitution. Because if their work is just to look at hate speech, which is a criminal offense, then that criminal offense can be looked at by other bodies. There are other bodies who can be able to work very well and be able to investigate criminal offenses, including the DCI. So they need to broaden their mind. They need to look at what their core business is and be able to engage the public to perform their duties. Otherwise, I think asking prosecutorial powers, and they have even summoning powers alone, they are impotent. Then they will just misuse. And Makiu, if we have a problem with the DPP, what tells you that if you transfer those prosecutorial powers to this body, you will not transfer the same problems there? You get. So let us try to implement our constitution. Where there are weaknesses, we try sorting their weaknesses. And the bodies that are crying, let them, especially the NCIC, I think they have a broader mandate. And in the prospect of, they are not looking at their broader mandate, they are now looking at one function of hate speech and leaving the entire spectrum
to cohere as a country.
Of cohesion as a country.
Yeah. Let me come to Akili so that we can wind up on it and try and see also the projection of tomorrow, how it will really pan out. But I think it's at the center of what we're discussing, even when we're talking about elections at the end of the day. And we have the ODPP who has come out, you know, stoutly denying, as we've said, that this prosecutorial powers should be handed over to NCIC and ESCC. And even from the office, he is, you know, informing Kenyans that we have hate speech and electoral justice division, which has been, of course, you know, put up to make sure that they look keenly on what is really happening here as far as hate speech and electoral injustice is concerned. But as we're winding up on this particular topic, I just wanted to ask you, Wakili, it's been now over 20 good years, isn't it? Since the establishment of NCIC. We're talking about 2007, 2008 there. Almost, right, 20 good years. And they seem to be very reactive rather than proactive and navel-gazing on hate speech alone. From your own assessment as a country, do we find ourselves in a place where we are very partisan? We are divided as a country? Are we one? Can you feel it? Can you discern it? As a nation, can we say is there a nationhood, or we are still in statehood, which is diametrically different, you know, states and the nation? And is there any building blocks to the nationhood?
Yes, that's a good question. And the problem of national unity, national cohesion, and where despite having many communities feeling as one nation, is an important one that affects all nations. Others more seriously than others, and depending on the fathers of the nation and who is the president, because essentially it's a leadership issue. In South Africa, Nelson Mandela had to deal with these issues of national cohesion and integration in a more divided society, even compared to Kenya, even with a lot of entrenched racism and oppression. To some extent, it is an issue that had to confront President Kenyatta or other presidents. It has also been an issue. In 2007, Kenya paid a steep price because of the either both hate speech, lack of national cohesion, and serious antagonism between the various communities. It is in the wake of all these that it was proposed that let us have a national cohesion commission that would help the country to be able to come together. Now, to build an institution is one thing, but is another thing what the politicians of the day, whether they want to facilitate. Because remember, a commission, and here it would start with who is the chairman, who are the members of the commission.
Yes.
Are they people, like by their nature, would actually bring people together and carry what I call moral authority?
Yes.
Moral authority is not something like you can say, oh, we have some jobs to be given. You apply for some job and you get that job without now being able to say you are that in a position to speak and people would listen to you.
Yes.
You've had bishops, you've had certain senior leaderships in this country who are respected across the country, who could have led commissions of this nature. But what do you have? You have a commission of probably job seekers who are there and they would wait. Like the Mheshimiwa, the case he's talking about, for example, about 5-6 months ago, I was instructed by the second elected Deputy President of Kenya, Rigathi Gachagua, to write to NCIC when they summoned him. What was the basis of the summon? The basis of those summons were certain comments that had been made by Honorable Rigathi Gachagua in reaction to a campaign of about 3 months where people were openly making hate speech against the Kikuyu community, people saying they are going to rig elections and they are going to do this or the other, without getting summoned by NCIC. But when he spoke, there was and you were, like I'm reacting to you, something that you have said, questions you have asked. There was hue and cry. So as a lawyer, I was told that you react to this, tell them I have no problem coming to appear before you, but because I was reacting to people, let the people who say they will rig election, and they are experts, that guy from Baringo, in rigging elections, let them be the first one to to record some statement. So it was actually something very logical. What does that point out? It points out to the fact that if you say that for 3-4 months, people are saying and declaring in front of the president how they are going to rig elections, and even making hate speech against other communities, and no action is taken, people will not take you seriously when 3 months later, in reactions to those very statements, you start summoning people. And that is where now we are saying there is the issue of individual failure, not the fact that we do not need commissions of that very nature. Because you want to wind up on that thing, let me react to something like that he said about, first of all, the case of Ojwang is in court, both in the Constitutional Court and in Kibera. But what we can be able to say for now is this. All these statements, when they were collectively collected, okay? Father Ojwang's father, and he did an affidavit the other day, saying, I cannot be satisfied as the victim and as the head of that family when I am the one who gave out my son and told mkubwa ametutuma hapa kwa sababu kijana yako alimkosea. Okay? This young man is killed several hours after that. The OCS, because all these things are on record, are saying, we gave this man, we were just holding this man on behalf of so and so. Now, when you say that IPOA and the DPP are the ones to say that DIG Lagat, for example, is innocent, that is the work of the High Court. So everybody, and that is a policy of prosecution, everybody directly involved in the death of a person must be charged. It is the role of the court to say that he is innocent or he is not. But when now you are getting into situations whereby even people are saying that it can't be this way, then this becomes a big problem. It is not my wish to prosecute such a case before you, but definitely the way one would say is that if you send people to come and collect Dibar, and Dibar is found dead the following day, and you say everybody else who had no enmity with that person is getting prosecuted for the murder, except the prime suspect, you would have to be a country of idiots to say that is okay. It cannot be okay.
I think
that is the issue.
You want to join in just a bit before we go to...
I think Wakili Kipe, who is a renowned lawyer and also the advocate of the High Court, has made a very flying statement to hear from a lawyer that everybody who is implicated in a murder has to be charged in court. I don't know that statement, whether it is supported anywhere in our law. I think it is.
Oh, it is.
I said, it is the work of the DPP to look at the file and take a watertight case to court based on the evidence that are available. I have said here, you will also be so foolish to go and report a case and at the same time to go and kill that person in a police station. You will be so stupid.
But let me ask you,
because this is a case, so that we finish. This is a case that is on record. The DIG Lagat reported the issue of the issue of social media misuse that he wanted the officers to investigate. And once you have reported a case, and Wakili Kipe is a renowned lawyer, once you have reported a case, it is taken up. So for you, it is just to be informed how that case has gone in court. So if police officers mishandle the case, how then do you become a prime suspect? Can you be so stupid to leave your footprints all over so that you can come and be victimized? I doubt so. So
you cover your footprints.
That case, I'm saying that case was reported properly. Action was taken. The Albert was taken to the Central Police Station. At the Central Police Station, what happened? The guy in charge of the Central Police Station, that is why we have an OCS in charge. The guy in charge at the Central Police Station and the officers who mishandled the case are in court. So you cannot also, as a lawyer, use your mob justice system and your connotation of law that is not supported by evidence, and say that if so and so is not in court, then there is there is no case unless I have the blood of someone. I think let us not also be a country where we practice mob justice. Let us be a country that is legally led by law.
Let's wrap it up with
led by evidence. And when you try somebody, let it be as fair as possible. So, on that case of the DIG, I think it is a case that is on public opinion. It is not what happened. And those officers who mishandled and killed Albert Ojwang are in court.
All right, because
you can imagine.
It's a matter active in court, so let us not dwell with it briefly. I think we went off the rails because we were looking at NCIC. Yes. So I think it's brought up all these memories of how also, maybe the institutions have failed to live up to or pass muster as far as the mandate is concerned. Meshach, just wrap up.
Yeah, wrapping up on that, I want to imagine that reporting is not a crime. Reporting, if Dibal has done something to me that I feel is bad, it doesn't matter what office I'm holding. What the law wants me to do is report to the authorities that are charged with that responsibility. And I think DIG did just that. I don't know how it becomes too complicated when a man who lives home, not sick, dies in a police cell, and how it becomes too complicated to just find the police officers who are guarding that cell that night and the OCS who was in charge of that station. Why is it being so difficult finding what happened within these 3 or 4 or 5 people? Because that is what we just need to do. We just need to know if the postmortem was done. Postmortem says either he was tortured, there was injury here and here. And we are sure that injury, he didn't come with this injury from home.
Yes.
Then the people who are in the vicinity just need to tell us what exactly happened. Unless them say that we were instructed, but even if they were instructed, still do not take them off the case. Because you can't instruct me to steal and then I am innocent. We are both guilty. It's just that now we have 2 people who are guilty. If I have not said you instructed me, I am the only guilty one. But if I now say you instructed me and prove that this was the instruction, then now there are 2 guilty people. That's how I understand. Coming to on the NCIC, I think as a normal Kenyan, we know the narrative. It will start with we don't have the prosecutorial powers. Then when that is given, we don't have the budget. We know how the things flow. It will go like that.
We have the prosecutorial powers now.
Yeah.
Now we don't have the budget.
We don't have the budget.
So we're still constrained.
So, yeah, it will go like that.
Our
we
mandate.
can tell. Let me speak on behalf of normal Mwananchi. We know how that system goes. We know it's a set piece of a music. If you sing this note low, the next note you sing high. So after the prosecutorial powers shall have been given, we will hear things like we are constrained, we don't have enough resources. Like that until the end.
Just as a rejoinder.
We need to wind up. So I think we paid much money to it. So that
just 1 minute, a rejoinder.
Yes.
You know we are getting it so wrong. Who told us that we needed NCIC to be investigating and prosecuting? We needed NCIC to bring cohesion and to bring unity among communities. That is their work. Their work is not just to see how many people they are prosecuting. Their work is to talk to people so that the people can live harmoniously. I don't know why they are jumping the gun.
All right.
And lastly,
I think the conversation.
Lastly,
yes.
Lastly,
this was sidebar.
Yeah. You know, Wakili Kibe, this constitution says that any instructions should be given in writing. This constitution, even the president, if he gives any instructions, it has to be in written. So if you say you receive verbal instructions from anybody, the constitution says that the proof is it has to be written down. And whoever you are taking instructions, you take instructions that are in writing. Otherwise, you take responsibility. So let us also, as a constitutional lawyer, let us also follow the Constitution. Let us not imagine things that are beyond the Constitution.
All right, IEBC says is that ready. I think we've wrapped up. I can see you're still straining at the leash, Mr. Meshach, to say something in Arabic. Okay. There's so much to say around it.
Yes.
We should dedicate our show just looking at these institutions so far. But we want to see, of course, how the IEBC is at the ready right now for tomorrow's polls. Just to give us a feel and flavor of that as well, let's just listen in to what the commissioners had to say and the chair.
Ni leo si leo. Ni leo si leo.
For the past 2 weeks, it has been a tug-of-war between the government and the opposition, each side pulling strongly towards its own interests.
Wacha nione wale nasema leo wa mudenda.
The by-election campaigns have marked by sharp political exchanges and even moments of violence. One might think the outcome of these by-elections determines the political survival of the candidates involved.
Usicheze na mimi nitakuvua nguo wewe. Wewe.
But why all this tension?
If Kithure Kindiki loses the Mbere by-election, politics is about numbers. If it is happening in your backyard and you cannot bring it home, then there is no need of having you. That is politics.
Political analysts predict that the results of these by-elections may shift the country's political trajectory, with the winners positioning themselves as dominant players ahead of the 2027 general election.
We know Kindiki mostly come from that side of Mount Kenya. And for him also to prove himself relevant and worth the seat of DP, he must try to bag that seat.
If at all the opposition wins the Mbere by-election, it will be a very good bargaining power towards the 2027 elections. All right? Okay? Because they will actually show the government that we have stamped our authority that Mount Kenya has shifted completely away from you.
However, some argue that these by-elections will not necessarily determine political dominance in the 2027, comparing the situation to 2006, when the NARC Kenya party performed strongly in by-elections, only to underperform in the 2007 general election.
NARC Kenya won 3 seats, but when it came to the general elections, the NARC Kenya did poorly. So sometimes the gauge of the political 2027 will not be the by-elections.
Nevertheless, based on the intensity of the campaigns, with each side fighting tooth and nail, it is clear that these mini polls could influence the structure and formation of political coalitions heading into 2027, both within government and in the opposition.
And of course, the opposition has been raising a special umbrage regarding the credibility of IEBC, and also noting that it has been rated poorly as far as the credibility is concerned in the country and the confidence right now, the new IEBC. So there are claims as well that is emanating from the opposition side that we have the vice chair of IEBC, Fahima Abdallah, who is involved in rigging claims in Magarini. This is coming from the DCP leader. Let's begin with you, Wakili.
Yes, of course.
So is there any merit in these accusations?
There is a substantial merit. We have had people being blocked. We've had violence and all those instances.
So there's a scrap of proof to actually, showcase that there was violence on the ground. I'm given to understand videos.
Yes. The violence has been obvious. In Narok, the police in Mbere, we've seen police officers stopping Rigathi Gachagua and other leaders of the opposition. In Bungoma, there was serious violence even in Malava that was being subjected to opposition candidates. This is, and leaders. This is not something, it is happening, there are videos. This is happening where everybody is seeing. At least on the question that it's been there is no doubt that it's been there. We have videos. It's just like the videos we had before people are charged with anti-terrorism cases, where people were raiding police station and government offices. Nothing was happening. Then the police go out there to collect innocent people from villages and charge them, but people in the video are not being prosecuted. So this is nothing new. These are things that have been happening. And it is in reactions to that that now people are saying, how can you assure people that you are a credible commission where you are completely toothless when it comes to electoral violence that is going on, being played out on video? There were gunshots against Governor Natembeya. So this is not anybody's imagination. So the problem, again, that we can be able to see, we had NADCO. NADCO had said how commissioners were supposed to be elected credibly with some kind of consensus amongst the opposition. That was not upheld. From the word go, and I believe Rigathi Gachagua was doing a letter just the other day and saying, you started on the wrong footing, you are the wrong persons for the job, you have a repeat of Kivuitu 2. The danger of Kivuitu 2 coming in 2027 is real. It's not imaginary. And therefore, Kenyans should actually be surprised that if they bungle the by-elections that are happening tomorrow, it would be a very bad sign. You see these things that you've seen happening in Tanzania, where the Electoral Commission is an extension of the office of the president. We saw where it landed Kenya in 2007, 2008. And we are repeating this without people caring a hoot about it. But since we have time, if they failed really to discharge their mandate, I believe that, unfortunately, instead of preparing for the election, you might have the campaign now of people saying, let's remove this bunch of people from those offices.
Right, Beshak, from your own estimation, do you think also IEBC has been quick off the mark to try and trust, in light of what is truly happening, you know, just calm and assure the public that we're in control, despite the fact that you can see some skirmishes happening here and there, or they've been mealy-mouthed about, you know, these cases that have been presented to them. So have they given a good reaction from your own assessment?
I think how they are going to handle the case is very important, even more than the reporting of the case, because it is one thing for me to report the case, but the merit of the case and how the authority which is charged with that responsibility handles that case is more important, because that is what builds the trust of Kenyans in that institution.
Given that this is actually the first assignment.
Yeah, or breaks the trust of Kenyan on that institution. Coming to things like violence, I think sometimes we are also getting a little mixed up, because, for example, in my backyard in Luo Nation, Kasipul, there was violence around this by-election. I think police, DCI, and everybody else need to also do their job, because how do we expect IEBC? Because IEBC is not running with a candidate in their campaign. So you have your car and your entourage, I have mine, and we are in different parts of the constituency campaigning. Violence erupts somewhere because maybe your team versus my team meet somewhere. Actually, it is the police who should know that we are here to maintain law and order. There is an election coming, a lot of campaigns are happening. So how do we ensure law and order within this vicinity as the politicians and their supporters campaign? That, to me, cannot be given to IEBC as their failure, because theirs is to prepare and handle that election. The code of conducts are there, and they had made these candidates sign the code of conduct about this election, how you will go about. So if any of them has a problem, we first need to know while you are going about your campaign, because I believe anywhere you are having your campaign, there has to be police around there, there has to be other security organs. What are they saying? Why were there such violence? Because even after that violence, the police around that, the police in charge of that region should actually come out and tell the courts or whoever that these are our investigations. This is what exactly happened. So we find this candidate or that candidate on the wrong. And then IEBC picks it there. You signed the code of conduct. You have been found on the wrong. Either you are disqualified from this election or these are the charges about this election. So we can't really primarily give it to IEBC when violence erupts in campaigns and things like that. But even the issues of voter bribery and things like that, is it not the same politician who we have just seen in the clip there saying, wakileta pesa nyinyi kuleni? In the court of law, wakili will tell you, both the briber and the one taking the bribe are all supposed to be guilty. But what are we hearing politicians saying even in that clip? Wakileta pesa kuleni. And it has been normal chorus everywhere. And we have heard, including the former deputy president, saying, in my region, I have instructed them to ask for more bribery, for more money. In other regions, they are cheap. In my region, we are expensive. They should give you 10,000, they should give you this much. Is that not just propagating the same thing that you are now again taking to be, before the IEBC and other authorities, that people are being bribed here and there? Yeah, when you have already told them, take the money.
Which continues to denigrate, our political culture in this country, that we need to sanitize and stanch the flow of corruption that is coming through the bribery. And especially if it's stripping off the tongues of our leaders who are, of course, in the both sides of the divide, saying this, you take the money, but you cast your vote differently. You know? So I think when we try, but I wanted to just raise a question of, even as you're talking about voter bribery, because we have the person of the vice chair of the IEBC who is being implicated in rigging claims here by the United Opposition. And I think this truly undermines just the new commissioners and the new faces that we do have, that Kenyans want to, believe they're a bit squeaky clean, as opposed to the previous, of course, commissioners we've had that they had to exit at the end of the day, on the tenure, of course, ended. But the question is there any stitch of evidence that is coming from United Opposition that, yes, Fahima Abdallah, she's embroiled in, influencing the turnout of Magarini polls tomorrow?
As someone who has been interested in our electoral system for quite some time, I will not tell you that this is a unique case. This is a unique situation. We have never had these claims on IEBC commission before. We've had them. We've even had an election which the Supreme Court nullified. But as a Kenyan who is paying taxes, we only went to the extent of saying this election was not conducted in accordance with the Constitution. And it stopped there. Who took responsibility of the 50 billion that was used in that election up to now? All right, no one. So these things are not new. As a Kenyan, as a normal Kenyan, speaking as a taxpayer and not holding any office, it's not a new thing.
Yeah, maybe Mr. So you won't really chime in on that. And the question also becomes on your end, you as a member of parliament, and we've been hyping on this as well.
Yes.
The Election Amendment Offence Act, where is it at right now? On what stage is it? Is it the first reading? Is it the second reading? Are we going to the third reading, waiting for the assenting by the president?
And it should be around the second reading thereabout.
Second reading?
Yeah.
And
so,
there's no much,
So
there's no much interest that has been stimulated around it, especially now that we're heading towards the general. That should be a very pivotal piece of legislation that should be in place.
Parliament has its own calendar, and once a bill comes, there's a process in which bills follow until we are through with it. So it will...
I know you have your calendar, but you have bills as well which have been sticking there for quite a while. Very interesting bills. Then we'll see the end of, the parliamentary tenure. Then we have a new... then we start off again, the same regurgitation of the same, same bill with a different name. And we wonder, why are we in this cycle for long?
May I tell you, campaigns and elections in Kenya is a very complicated affair. It can never be sorted by all manner of laws. We have so many laws governing elections, and this one will be an additional, but I doubt whether the mindset of Kenyans will...
But at least we'll have a law that...
we have also laws, eh? You don't say that we don't have laws.
We do.
We have so many... And every time, by the way, and every time we have an issue, we have an amendment to the Elections Act. I think Wakili Kipe will tell you. So we have so many laws. I think the problem...
No, but I just wanted to latch, because sorry, I'm not giving you time to actually just delve deep on that. But I know even if we're talking about a voter bribery,
yes,
the campaign finance bill as well should be able to cure all this that you're talking about.
I think we have that. Those laws are in place.
No, but we still have that particular bit.
Okay,
yes,
if you are looking
the
at
amendment,
if you are looking at the elections laws and elections protection and crime and things like that, we have enough laws. The only thing we still need to enhance, but what happens with the mindset of Kenyans? The mindset of Kenyans will still remain the same. We are in the same pot. What I wanted to say is that, as I told you, campaigns and elections is a very complicated affair. The only thing, if you look at what has happened in these by-elections, it is, of course, it has become a motive. Even now, an MCA seat is very competitive. Looking at what is happening, if you look at what has happened, that is Kapuchai Chwele. The police said that it was stage managed. I don't know. And do we have a live reported case at the police stations with the OB that has not been investigated? So some of these issues you find in the media never finds their way into officially reporting either to the IEBC or to the police for purposes of launching investigations. And some is, to wipe public emotions. So that's why I'm telling you, you don't have to look at plainly at an event that happens and you make conclusions. You need to know what were the surrounding and what were the effects. So it's a very complicated. But what I want to say is that IEBC, if there is a fulcrum that holds the country together, we have come from far, from 1992, 2007, and you have seen how not managing elections can lead us to. So I would like to urge IEBC to be on top of things, to be independent as possible, and to execute their mandate to a level whereby, despite the disorganizations that political class do, at least they should not be in the same mud. They should be up. They should make sure that at least at the end of the day, we have a free and fair, verifiable outcome of an elections. I think all through what we can give it, even before this IEBC came in, even the other IEBCs, they have been able to manage by elections very well, and the results have always streamed in, and everybody has accepted the results. I doubt, since it is still the same systems, the same thing, the same structure, because at the end of the day, when you get commissioners come to an IEBC that is already well established. It has the systems, it has the digital platform to be able to manage elections, and I believe the outcome of that elections will be verifiable. So I doubt whether they'll bungle at the last minute. So I also want to urge the chairman of IEBC, at the end of the day, the 2027 elections will depend on him specifically and how the elections are managed. And in fact, you are looking at the Omtata case, and I think it is Omtata is just trying to create some publicity and traction for himself, because already there is a Supreme Court ruling that says that presidential elections are announced at the polling stations, and once that form 34, is it at 4A, has been filled, then that is the authentic results. And Bomas, even Bomas now has gotten a new facelift. I doubt whether we might need to change to somewhere else to be able to tally the elections. Bomas just tallies.
It has been grabbed.
Not grabbed. It is being given a facelift. So what happens? Yes. It is just tally. And I doubt the 1 + 1 can be as difficult. It can be difficult for a P1 of a grade. Is it grade PP1 or PP2 to be able to 1 + 1? So 1 + 1 should not give us so much issue. The issue is the verifiable, credible elections should be announced at the polling stations, and I think the court has pronounced so.
Thank you.
And
thank you.
And I doubt why he's also Omtata likes he likes creating attraction to himself. There was a time he launched his presidential bid. I don't know why he disappeared.
Well, he's still a presidential hopeful. So.
Yeah. So maybe in summary, what I want to say is that the police should make sure that at least there is no violence. People should be free to campaign. Secondly, the IEBC should be able to deliver a credible, transparent, and accountable elections, and Kenyans will remain peaceful.
Thank you. Right, I can see time is ticking away from us, Honorable Soi, and I think we need to also just clarify on that a bit, whether this is purely hot air from Okiya Omtata seeking, that the National Tallying Center should be abolished. The constituency level should be the main center where the presidential, announcement is made. But somebody will argue again, there has to be, the center where all these tallies are done. So where you have every other corner, every nook and
it can be done digital
and cranny of is who does the assembling, the tallying itself, and giving us the concrete number and making the pronouncements. So we can just be pronouncing
if I may ask, in the US elections,
yes,
do you have a tallying center for presidential elections?
Where?
In US. Is there a tallying center like Bomas?
There's none.
Yeah, sometimes we also...
Yeah, because they have a valid point that this is not a creation of a constitution. Where is it actually? When you plumb through the constitution itself, where is it? So it is unconstitutional. So for them not to petition it as unconstitutional.
If this issue of tallying center 1+1 is giving us an issue, because already we know that elections end and are announced at the polling station, then 1+1, it can be done even in the air.
All right.
No problem.
Thank you. Let's hear from Wakili just briefly, then we give our closing remarks. And of course, talking about tomorrow will be purely speculative, but you can give your discernment. I'll give you maybe, I believe you don't read your tea leaves. So I can say, looking at your tea leaves or your crystal ball, what will be happening tomorrow? Let's just begin with you briefly. Wakili Kibe.
I was supposed to contribute to
the Mutata's case. Just briefly. Is it just hot air? Is this for political expediency?
Yes, I think it's a very, very serious petition in the sense that whereas you had the Maina Kiai case that was decided by the High Court, upheld by the Court of Appeal, and has subsequently been endorsed by the Supreme Court, saying that the elections declared at the tallying center not at the polling stations are final. Yes. That is a constitutional position as it has been upheld. But when you go to the Elections Act and the elections rules, you find a scenario whereby there are some regulations that have been made creating the National Tallying Center. The last time when we did elections, for example, we did it in one day. But we had to wait until 3-4 days for activities to take place at Bomas, going into the issues of verification of this or the other. But in the meantime, you had all the elections that had already been declared by day 2 at the constituencies level. Therefore, there is a key issue that if elections are truly supposed to be at the grassroots, what is all this that we now say we are going to do at headquarters, and the national attention and pressure ends up going to Bomas, and therefore it defeats the purpose. So the case, because it's challenging specific regulations that are there pursuant to the Elections Act and regulations, is a real issue, and it is not hot air. But to come now to the so-called closing remarks for purposes of tomorrow, I think when you read the newspapers, these elections, particularly the two of them, to the Mbere one and the Malava one, because the others, some of them, ODM ordinarily is the strongest party in Nyanza region. It is also the strongest party in Magarini. It is really not a game changer, whatever election results are going to be there. But the significant ones will be Mbere and, of course, the Malava. In what is the significance to the specific individuals? In Malava, it is actually more significant to seeing how much traction has UDA gotten now that it has people like Mudavadi and people like, so that whether you lose it or not, it is a big issue to people like Mudavadi and their future in politics, because it would appear they are new kids in the block. Will this be confirmed by the results or not? It is out there. Then when you go to Mbere North, from my point of view, Mbere North is, people are casting it as a big as a constituency that can reflect the Mount Kenya vote sentiment. But I think there's an exaggeration in the sense that the composition of Mbeere North, the fact that it is somewhere out there with a certain compositions, rural people, poor people, vulnerable to bribery and all these kind of issues.
Thank you.
It becomes an issue to, can it reflect, for example, that because people have voted this way in Mbeere North, this is how it could have been voted in Murang'a or Kiambu or Nyandarua. It is not. So it will be a local issue, more significant to Kindiki than anybody else.
All politics is local, so that is purely hyperbole. As you say, it's an exaggeration.
Yes.
And we've had some analysts saying, oh, we know also this is a bellwether of what will be happening in 2027.
Yeah.
I think it will be very unfair for us to do that. Okay, your closing remarks?
On the Okia case.
Briefly,
yeah,
yes.
Briefly. On the Okia Mutata case, I also think it is important case at this point in time because why do we take 10 or so days at the Bomas of Kenya when election result had been announced at the polling station? Why these 10 other days? So the Bomas has not really served us as a country like what we would say this is great. Because if election ends, according to IEBC, they start tallying at the polling station, they start tallying from the presidential vote, going to these other votes. But that same presidential vote is what we go to Bomas for another 10 days, putting the country in this tension, waiting for them to actually. So it is an important thing, according to me. Then finally, this by-election should actually tell us something about the young people and the young voters in this country. If they are not going to show us those numbers they had on the street, then that whole street thing is going to be treated like it didn't change anything. But if it changed something in terms of thinking and going forward, then we should see those numbers. We know by-elections are always 40% turnout. Let this by-election have 80% turnout. That will be a game changer in terms of how the young people are going to react to the election.
Thank you. Thank you.
Maybe my viewpoint, first on the Mutata case, is that I think we tend to be struggling a lot in terms of once we know the results at the polling stations old. What we need to decide as a country, which is somehow now causes confusion, and I don't know how, is how do we transmit those results at the polling station to be reflected nationally, and we have a verifiable system of transmission. I think that if we can be able to handle that without politicizing the issue, then it's a very small issue. Coming up to the by-elections, I wish tomorrow there will be a peaceful by-elections, and from the results that we are gauging is that UDA will be able to pack the Mbeere seat and will be able to pack the Malaba seat.
I should slap you with an invoice for taking this opportunity on the platform to campaign for UDA.
So as I finish, what I know is that the president has an agenda for this country. You saw it during the State of the Nation address, what he was able to articulate in terms how we need to move this country from being a third world to a first world. And with that 5 trillion infrastructure bond that we are going to pass by when we come from the recess, this will be a game changer. This will inject the required trajectory to be able to make this country, and that's the most important.
Right.
In fact, the most important is not the elections. The most important is, in his time, the president was able to change this country.
Fantastic, thank you.
I think
No, we need to wind up. No, we need to wind up. We need to wind up. I think that is a topic for another day, and it will, of course, stimulate a lot of interest. We go beyond time, but 5 trillion shillings, I think that's an eye-popping figure. Yes. A lot of conversation around it and questions around it.
And
we can see, and we can see already the CBK governor is raising, issues to do with the threshold of. We are heading to a debt distress.
Infrastructure bond, we are not borrowing.
No, but even infrastructure bond itself, when you're going to it, people want to know, with this infrastructure bond, what is it warranting?
Become clear.
Why are we also selling some of our assets as well?
We shall be debating
double taxation in a way.
Let's just say Singapore, here we come.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, gentlemen. David Kiplagat, Member of Parliament, sorry, thank you for joining us this morning. Kiba Mungai, Advocate of the High Court, and Mesha Kodede, political commentator. We really appreciate your attention to, of course, the discussion that we had with you, very cogent. A lot of issues are arising right now, and we know tomorrow is a big day. We as TV47 will give you the whole story from the ground where we are at right now with our reporters. Of course, a wall-to-wall, live, wire-to-wire live coverage that will be happening right from the ground, and just keeping our eyes peeled and keeping out our ears to listen into what will be happening tomorrow. Don't go away, much more is coming up on the other side of the break. Remember, today is Thanksgiving Day. We thank God for providentially being good to us, and of course that is primarily happening in the US as well, but of course it's a good tradition that they've held for the longest time, and we have something in studio. It's a surprise, so wait for it on the other side of a break with Anne Odilia.